Boom, there we go. All right, Steve, welcome back. It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Yes, sir.
How you been?
Ron, what's going on, man? I've been pretty good, man. Been pretty good.
All right. Family's good?
Family's good. Baby girl's good. Mom, dad, brothers, sisters, everybody's doing all right, man.
All right. So I have an interesting subject for you this week, man.
Talk to me, man. What are we talking about today?
So I'm doing a segment, or should I say a series? Yeah, I'm doing a series on the qualities of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I wanted to talk about pride.
Woo.
Yeah.
Good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So we're gonna, you know what, I just want to kick it with you, man.
Bro, you know how we do anyway. Let's just kick it.
All right. I'm gonna kick it with you real quick. I'm not gonna keep you past 45 minutes, man. I promise you. I promise you. All right, you'll get to next, bro. You will get to next. I promise.
All right, we got it. You know me, man.
All right, so it's interesting because pride is something that can help bolster you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You, of course, when you produce something and it's good, all right, you're proud of it.
Yeah,
right? And that pride can help take you to the next level.
100%.
Right. It's being proud of anything, being proud of your business, being proud of a project, being proud of just the pride is like it gives you that nice little smile on the inside, right?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Right.
I did that.
Exactly, right. So it's so it's like you have the kids and the kids come. Like they get straight A's and you're like, yeah. Right? And that pride it does something.
Mm-hmm.
It does it gets those what's the word? Not the endorphins, right?
It gets the juices flowing. It gets those. It makes you feel good,
dopamine,
man.
Nice little shot,
It makes you feel good, man. It does. It does.
And it's interesting, like, pride is something as a leader, I feel, can help you take your business, help you take your projects to the next level. Because, of course, if you're not proud of something, right, you're not going to stand behind it.
Not at all.
All right, because you can tell when somebody believes in what they're saying, right?
Yeah,
and they believe in what they're doing. Like, and if they're not proud of their achievements, it's like, well, like, there's something false about you.
Yeah,
right. And I wanted to bring it forward, bring it to the table where I was like, it is something that is needed, right? And so I want to hear your opinion on that. Like, do you think pride is something that's needed, or something you can do without?
So I believe that pride is something that everybody should have. And everyone should take pride in something, especially, like a career or their children or their church or, a ministry that they're in or whatever they put their hands to. You should be proud of it. That thing should bring you a satisfaction because, you're putting your hands to something and you have a goal in it. And hopefully you're seeing that goal come to pass, or you're seeing the goals that you've set come to pass. So everybody should take pride in something. Everybody should have a bit of pride in them as well. Take a bit of satisfaction of what you're doing. Not to the point where it becomes extreme, though. And I think this is where the lines kind of blur, right? Because it's like, if I take satisfaction or take pleasure in achievements that I've made, how do I stop from how do I stop having, when do I kind of cut the line off? You know what I'm saying? When do I draw the line in the sand? And that's when you have somebody that becomes prideful, because what now they've done is they have taken all their stock and put it
in them.
in them. And so the very first thing about pride, right, is that you're the one that do it. You're the one that's doing that thing. And so it brings that self-satisfaction, brings a self-gratification, as opposed to, which is why, when we do things as Christians, we always look at it and we say, okay, God is the source behind everything, because it automatically eliminates a certain type of pride, period. And because of that, it causes a certain humbleness, because you can't be so prideful that you're not humble, but you can't be so humble that everybody walks over you. There has
there's a thin line sometimes.
And who told that line so well? Jesus did. Jesus told that line so well. Like, if anybody ever wants to be a great leader, like every leader has had their shortcomings and their faults, certain things in their lives that weren't great. Jesus is the ultimate leader, because Jesus walked that line perfectly of taking pride in who he was and in who his God was, because he was God. So, and taking pride of who he was, right? And also walking with a humbleness and a meekness that empowered others. And I think that's the thing, to walk with humbleness and to walk with meekness, because meekness simply means I could do what you do, but I'm gonna let you do it because, that's your job, or that's what you're supposed to do.
People also need to understand meekness doesn't always equate to weakness.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And I think that's what people, when they hear the meek shall inherit the earth, they're thinking about people who are like weak and, I can't do this. Oh. That's not what it's saying at all. That's not what it's speaking about at all. It's speaking about people that could have, that are walking with God, that can be certain things, but choose not to, but choose to do the will of the God, of the Father. And that shows a certain meekness in them. And those meek shall inherit the earth. That's what it means when it talks about meekness. It doesn't talk about weakness.
It doesn't say anything about weakness.
No, it means
nowhere along that.
Yeah, it means people who are willing to lay certain things about them to the side and allow God's will to be done. And that's what great leaders do. Because great leaders, right? They know that they can do something, but I know that I have another person under me that can do that thing, maybe even better than me. And so I'm going to let them go over that department. So as a teacher, I do it all the time. As a teacher, I have students who hook up technology for me. It doesn't mean I can't do it myself, but it means they're the technology person in the classroom. And so I don't have, and this is where pride comes in, right? Because my pride isn't, I'm the teacher of the classroom and I need to do everything. And because I'm the teacher, I don't want to show people that I'm stupid because I can't hook this stuff up. No, I can hook it up. Or maybe I have an idea of how to hook it up. But this student right here, who is under me and who I'm empowering to be a better human being, if I give them this opportunity to shine in an area where they feel that they are great, it can now begin to open up different aspects of their life where they now want to take risk in other places and do other things, because I've had the meekness enough to say, hey, man, why don't you try this? Because I don't, just do this for me. And that's what Jesus did with the disciples, to the point where Jesus looked at the disciples and said, hey, greater things will you do on earth than me. But Jesus said that. God said that. God looked at 12 dudes and said, yo, greater things will y'all do. And not even 12 dudes, because that portion of scripture was to all of us. God looked at all of us and said, hey, greater things will you guys do on earth than that I will.
So here's my question though. So knowing yourself, right? And when I said knowing yourself, I'm talking about not just knowing your strengths, right? Knowing your weaknesses, right? Would that help temper pridefulness?
Will what help temper pride? Meekness?
Yeah, because like if you know yourself, knowing yourself, right? If you know what your strengths are, You know what your weaknesses are. All right. So you know where you need help. You know where you're strong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So are the things that you need help, you able to step back and let the other person, hey, you go,
Yeah,
you be great.
and that's the level of humbleness too, right? Because that's where being humble comes into play. Because being humble comes into play. Being humble is saying, I'm not good at this, I need help. Pridefulness says, yeah, I could do it. Even if I don't know I can do it, I can do it, I can find it out. You know, but we live in an age where people are telling you, yo, man, just do it, just try it, whatever, right? But when you're a leader and you have lives in your hands, you have people's development and people's things that are on the line with you, a great leader looks at it and says, I am very good at doing A and B, but C and D, I can't do it. And that the success of that leader doesn't blind them. And that's what pridefulness does. Pridefulness blinds you with certain parts that you're not good in. The success of that leader doesn't blind them and say, I'm going to do C and D anyway, knowing that I'm not good.
That reminds me of a not old, but like a boss, a leader, I should say. I do consider him a leader. Steve, I abhor public speaking.
I would have never guessed it.
And for some reason, I don't know what got into this man. I don't know what he was thinking. He thought I'll be great at public speaking. So what he started doing, put me in front of the class. You know, welcome them, do introductions. And and the first couple of times I stuttered my way through. Right? But he just, even though I faltered, right? He just kept putting me in front of them. He just kept doing it. Just kept doing it. And then afterwards, he was like, hey, how do you feel? You know? And then every time I'll be like, I hate it. I don't like it. I don't know why you're doing this to me. I don't like it. Until that one time, he put me in front of them. And just like that.
Because eventually it clicks. Also, a good leader also sees, and here's another thing that with pride kind of blind, because pride just blinds leaders for stuff. That's why you can't be prideful, period, because it'll blind you for things. A good leader will be able to see somebody and say, you know what? They have the tools in them that can be successful in an area where that person feels like they can't. But it's not that you can't, it's that you're taking the attributes that you have and you're not applying them to that, or something may be blocking you. Like you said, right? When I was younger, I didn't like public speaking either. I didn't like public speaking either. When I was younger, I was actually extremely, extremely shy, which, you know me, was just like, you shy, what? You know what I'm saying? And when I tell people that looks like something that they you know, wouldn't believe. And for me, what got me over it was I had a teacher, a music teacher, and his name was Mr. Stiefel, and he would put me in like he put me as a star of a play. And I said, bro, no, I'm like too shy for this or whatever. He goes, Steve, cut that. He was like, cut that out, man. Like, you can do this. You're funny. You're this, you're that. And I'm in like first grade, I believe. And he's like, you're funny. You're this, you're that. Just do it. Bro, after he did that, that was it. You know what I'm saying? That opened up Pandora's box for me. And a great leader is able to remove themselves, because I think for the part, like if I didn't do it, he would have had to do it, right? And like a great leader removes themselves and says, you know what? I want to bring this person up. And pride doesn't stop. Here's another thing about pride, right? Or being meek. Being meek also is something where it says, like, yo, I can do this, but I can see that you can do this too. And I'm not threatened by the fact that me and you have the same gifting. As a matter of fact, I'm going to help your gifting, and I'm going to I'm going to make it better. And even if it becomes better than me, that's fine.
It's absolutely okay. It's okay.
We'll be okay. A great example of that is our Pastor Richard Ishmael. Pastor's like that.
I love him, bro. I love
him. Like, super talented dude, does a lot of great things. One of the biggest things that he does.
Super humble too, man.
You know what I'm saying? He preaches very well or whatever. And that's something that, you know, I believe that God is calling me in that vein, right? And so instead of him looking at that and saying, you're a threat to, you know, what I'm doing, he looks at it and says, nah, man, let me help you out. Come here, let me give you some pointers. Let me show you how to boom, 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 boom. And that is a sign of a great leader who doesn't let pride blind them.
You know, quite honestly, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this. I remember I went up to him and I was like, oh, you know, I want to start a podcast, you know, and, you know, all I'm thinking about is like, oh, I have to buy this mic and I have to buy this camera and I have to buy, and he's like, you can just start using your phone. I said, what? And he literally, he told me, right? And he told me the app and he said, you know, I can, whereas I can literally sit here and I can have an interview with you and post it. I was like, really?
Yeah.
You know, and I downloaded the app, but I didn't pursue it right away, you know, because I'm thinking I need to have this big production. And then, of course, COVID happened.
Yep.
And then I was like, wait a minute, everybody's using Zoom. I was like, wait, can I record on Zoom? Boom. There we go. You know, and in many ways, he has just helped to guide me and push me. And he just kept like having me, like just kept me just to, you know,
and that is the thing of a great leader, because he's not threatened by the fact that you wanted to do something that might be in his vein. He doesn't think, hey, who does this dude think he is that, you know, want to do a podcast about certain things or whatever like that or whatever. He helps out. He gives you resources that he's using. He's not stingy with it. You know what pride is? You know what pride is? Pride is like the dude, and I don't know if you ever went to high school, because like with people like this, but I used to go to high school dudes, and they're like, and you see like somebody coming in with like a pair of sneakers or you know, like a shirt that you're like, yo, man, that is so dope.
Hey, where you get it?
The shirt from? Nah, man, I can't tell you. That's pride, because you want to be the only person with the shirt. Yo, or you want to be the only person with the sneakers. Like
I was that dude, bro.
Well,
I was that dude. I was that dude. You would ask me, be like, I got it from the store.
Yeah. Like I didn't like dudes like that. Like if I was on you in high school, I'd be like, I bet it's cool. I ain't talking to this dude no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I never liked that. But that's the thing. But there's a certain level of pride that comes with that. I should be the only person with this. Ain't nobody else need to have this so hot. You know what I'm saying? I should be, no, man. Like it's like, no, I'm gonna let you know where I get it from. You know, and that's great leaders do that. Great leaders let other people know, this is where I get this from. Yeah. This is where I get these ideas from. This is how I think about certain things. This is how I approach certain stuff. Great leaders do that because there's not a level of pride that blinds them. Their success and the satisfaction that they get from their success is not so much where it's like, I'm the only person that wants this success. I'm the only person that should have this, and I'm not going to tell anybody how I do it. That's the sign of someone that is extremely prideful.
No, but now that you brought it up, right? So we have pride when it goes on the other side now, which hinders you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because, you know, yes, we do know pride helps bolster you. It helps, you know, it can help take you to the next. But also, if it's too much, it hinders you, right?
It does.
Whereas you're not able to see things for what they are. You're not listening to constructive criticism.
No.
Right? I'm trying to see if I can recall a time when I was the
I'll tell you, a lot of musicians have pride. A lot of musicians have pride. Now, thank God I have some of my friends who are musicians, and I'm not talking about any of them. They're, you know, really good. or whatever. And, you know, they'll say, hey, man, I need you to listen to something. What do you think about this? And I'd be like, maybe for me, my taste, I'd like this, this and that, or this right here. And then they would explain why they did what they did. And, you know, we go back and forth. And sometimes I've had friends who look at me and say, yeah, that's even a better idea, Steve. I'll take that. Or I look and be like, yo, that makes sense now. Okay, cool. However, I know of people who, and my friends who are musicians would tell me they would have people who they would say certain things to. And it's not even in a way of demeaning them. It's in a way of like, yo, bro, like, you know, maybe you should do the music that. Nah, I'm good, bro. Nah, forget it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Nah, forget it. You're not saying the song is whack, but you're like, yo, maybe you could like turn this level up or bring this thing down, or you want to put the snares over.
No, bro, you don't understand the vision. You don't understand the vision.
The snares cover your voice. You know what I'm saying? Can't really hear this word very well. So why don't you try to nah, bro. Musicians, artists are very, very prideful. Like, you know, a painting or a drawing. You know what I'm saying? Or
I can't understand why though.
Actors are very prideful. So you find pridefulness really more in the arts a lot more, but that's because this thing is coming from them. So really what it is like,
their vision.
You're not attacking because you're not saying the music or the art piece or the drawing or the film or the acting is wrong.
You're saying they are.
That's how people interpret it. And so that's a very prideful thing. And that can stop you. So as people now, and I do take that and I would think about it. And as a teacher, you'd have other teachers come into your classroom. Now the teachers are a principal or you know, tomorrow I'm gonna get observed by my administration, you know, or whatever. So
is that time already, bro?
Yeah, man. They still doing it. So we're doing it online too. So that'll be interesting. But as a teacher, you know, people would come in and they'd be like, hey, Mr. Altidor, why don't you try to move this here, or maybe you should do this or attack this over here. And when I first became a teacher, I used to take it as like, what? You trying to say I'm not a good teacher? Like, you trying to say, like, you better than me? I had teachers come in my classroom and be like, oh, maybe you should hang this here. Like, cool. And I wouldn't do it on purpose. I'm like, I wouldn't even listen to them because after a while I thought it was an attack on me. But then as you got older and you realized that these teachers were really trying to help you, and it wasn't something saying you're not a good teacher. It's saying, here's how you can be better.
Yeah. Yep.
From people who have been in the game a little longer than you. I began to humble myself and say, you know what? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Until now, I'm like an open book. I have teachers come to my classroom like, yeah, what you think? I've been teaching for like 13 years, bro. Like, what you think? Nah, you should change it. Take it all down. You know what I'm saying? To that point. But it is something that, you know, pride, and it's really true what that old saying says. Pride really does come before the fall.
It does. So Steve, no, honestly, it's interesting that you brought up, you know, pride comes before the fall, because it literally falls in line with what we've been saying about not being receptive.
And that's what pride does. Pride closes your receptiveness because you've been, and here's why. Because you either have been successful or see yourself successful in something to the point where you don't want to alter anything about it because it has equaled success. So because of that, you've now closed and what pride does is you've closed any receptors to altering your vision or altering what's been done for you. And therefore, it causes you to fall. Therefore, because you know, I've walked this way my whole life and it's gotten me to here. But the person's like, you're about to go off a cliff, bro. I've walked this way my whole life and it's gotten me to here. And can't nobody tell me nothing. You fall. You know, and it's a figurative thing, but it's literal in a sense, right? So you have somebody who is a successful businessman. I've done business this whole way for my whole life. And now here comes a digital wave about to hit, and you go, no, I'm not changing any way I receive money. I'm only going to take cash. I'm not going to get a credit card reader. I'm not going to get a Cash App. I'm not going to, I've only received this the only way. And then all of a sudden, bro, your business falters because people are now dealing with cash. They're dealing with credit cards. They're dealing with cryptocurrency. They're dealing with all this other stuff. And you refuse to take in things this way.
Yo, bro, why are you talking about Blockbuster like that, bro? Why are you doing Blockbuster so bad, bro? Come on, man.
Blockbuster, man. Blockbuster. Blockbuster had the chance to buy. Here's the crazy part. Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix. And I think the CEO of Blockbuster was like, ain't nobody ever gonna want some Netflix. Ain't nobody ever gonna watch movie.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the Blockbuster thing. Blockbuster could add Netflix. That's all I'm saying. Pride comes before the fall, bro. Pride comes before the fall. If we are so prideful in the sense that we cannot change ourselves, we will lose.
But not just change yourself, but be at least open your eyes to what's happening. You know, at least, you know, at least open your eyes and like, okay, let me look and see what the new trends are. Let me look and see, you know, how this is affecting my immediate community.
Yeah.
So let me, you know, at least, you know, are they being receptive? Are people listening to what I'm saying? Is this impacting people in a positive way? Right? Because you could have been doing it for 10 years. Right? And it's been having a positive impact. But, you know, like I said, the only thing that's constant is change, right? So once things change, you kind of, if you don't go with the flow sometimes, and you don't always have to change every single time, but you at least take stock of what's happening and see how it affects you.
Yes.
You know, so you can in turn make the changes to continue to be effective.
But that comes with somebody that understands that their way is not always right. And that the pride is not there, or the pride is so minimal that you allow the humbleness to come up. Because at times you're gonna have to alter certain things. At times you're gonna have to be humble, and at times you're gonna have to look at somebody and be like, "Yo, bro, I've been doing this."
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me what to do in this point, because what you're saying are the mistakes that I've made a couple of years ago. So listen to me. That's when that time comes in. But then you're gonna have to have that time where you're looking at it, you're like, you know what, you're right. I can't do it this way.
So it's towing that line, and
it's towing that line, man.
You know,
it really is. And as human beings, and it goes to that example that I said earlier, right? As human beings, it's not a knock on what we do. It's not a knock on how we do something. We internalize it as a knock on us.
Yes.
Because what we do and how we do it comes from us. So if you're knocking how and what I do, you're knocking me. And that's not the case. It's just, bro, let's change. Let's fix this thinking.
You know, it definitely, I when I first started blogging, I used to be this, I had this tunnel vision, bro. I was like, I'm doing this. And if it wasn't for having mentors, right? Having friends, having people that, hey, did you think about doing this instead? Did you try this? You know, that's when I did the website. That's when I, you know, started doing Instagram. Bro, I am not a social media person, man.
Yeah, social media's not for everybody, bro.
But, you know, it's necessary sometimes.
It is.
Right? But it's necessary, and it works when you use it properly.
Yeah.
When you use it effectively, right?
I agree.
So I had to be open to those things. At first, I wasn't. I was like, I'm not doing that. That's not me.
Yeah.
And then, because I felt that when people said these things, it's like, I felt that they were saying what I was doing wasn't good enough.
Exactly. And that's not the case. It's just
and then I internalized that, like you said, I internalized and be like, so basically what you're saying, I'm not good enough. You know, and I had to learn to be like, okay, if I want to impact change, right? If I want to bring about this whole new idea, a new approach to mental health within our communities, I need to start making changes myself.
Yeah.
In order to continue to be impactful, right? But like you said, that came with maturity.
Yeah.
And it came with falling sometimes. I fell hard, and lesson learned, right?
Hey, bro. Sometimes in order to get up, you gotta fall.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't fall, how are you getting up?
And I'll wrap this up by saying this, and this is something that I've learned in my lifetime. The greatest lessons are not learned in success.
No.
The greatest lessons are learned through
failures.
It doesn't mean that you're going to be a failure all your life in order to learn. But the greatest people in the world, some of the most athletes, some of the greatest, the reason why they became winners is because they learned when they fail. Now, if you fail and you don't learn anything from it,
then you're a failure.
Then you're a failure, and you're doomed to repeat the same thing over and over and over. As opposed to if you fail at something and you learn from it, and that test comes back, then you know exactly what to do in order to
approach it, how to avoid pitfalls.
That's it.
That's perfect, man. I believe that we can end right here, man. That's the perfect wrap up, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Hey, bro. Anytime, my man.
All right, man. Steve, take care.
Take care, brother.
Until next time.
Yes, sir.